Alright guys, today's project, we're going to build a shed. Let's get started. So this is about 2 hours into the project. I thought I was recording, but when I checked the phone, it was not. So first thing to do is make sure the phone is actually recording. So you can see I already have the flooring done, and that was made out of 2x6s for the floor framing, pressure treated, and those sit on top of 4x4 pressure treated posts. That way, everything that's touching the ground is pressure treated, so I don't have to worry about that. And so, yeah. And then, so the decking I used for the floor is 3/4 inch just plywood, nothing special there. You can see me making a wall right here made out of 2x4s with the studs being 24 inches on center. And you can see that I'm using LP Smart Siding T111 4x8 sheets. These sheets make it super easy to sheathe the walls, and you can see I'm also sheathing them before I put the walls up. This just made it easier so I'm not having to sheath the walls while I'm also trying to hold it, because a lot of the times I'm working by myself. You can see here the kids are running around the while I'm trying to work. Makes it a little bit difficult, but I do enjoy them being there anyway. So I'm just framing out one of the side walls here. I did get a new nail gun, a new framing nail gun. The first framing nail gun that I've ever owned, it was a Metabo 3.5 inch, 21 degree framing nailer. So I'm just trying to figure that out as well. Trying to get the depth setting correct for the siding, and then changing the depth setting for the framing. Here we're putting up a couple walls, and then I'm going to do the other two walls. Okay, as you can see, we got the three walls up, and I'm just working on the front wall right now. The roofing structure I went with is a lean-to design, so it doesn't have uh, a gable roof. It's just got a sloped roof that's going to be higher in the front and lower in the back. That's why I have the siding on the sides still protruding way up high, because when I find out what the slope is, I'll cut it to the slope of the roofing framing. So I'm going to cover the door also with the T11 siding, so it'll look really nice when the trim gets on it. There's the front wall up with the roofing members on. Those are sitting on top of the 2x4 walls you can see in the back there, and that's just the front um, fascia going on, the 2x4. You can see I left it long on the sides because it's also going to have an overhang on the sides. All right, so all the roof framing got done, and I used the LP Smart Side 8-inch around the whole where the eaves are. As you can see right there, everything's covered. And right now I'm just working on the trim. The trim is the LP Smart Side. It's an LP Smart Trim 1x4s. I'm not really worried about cutting them so that each side has an equal reveal. I'm, I'm, I'm not really worried about that with a shed. So I'm trimming everything out right now in the LP Smart Trim 1x4s. And one thing I told Erica about the next shed I build, because each spot will get a shed, is that I will not do those overhangs as far as I did. There was a lot of time I spent with cutting the blocking and doing measurements and spending extra money on LP Smart Trim or Smart Siding to get all that stuff done. And it was cool because I wanted to try everything out and kind of experiment with this shed. But the next shed will just have kind of flush sides, and I won't be spending so much time doing blocking and everything like that. So the next shed will be a little bit more streamlined, a little bit easier, and a little bit cheaper as well. All right, so here I'm caulking all the cracks and caulking all of the nail holes. That way there's no water intrusion and everything is nice and watertight. I did this around the whole shed, and even up there on the fascia you can see right there all along the trim got caulking. And then so the shed is 8x8, and I found these plans online. All right, guys, finished the paint, and it looks red. It is really red. We really like how this paint came out. We use a good quality paint, PPG exterior 100% acrylic latex paint. Red all the way around. It looks really nice. Took me a couple days to paint because all my painting stuff is in Brookshire. So good thing when I went to the store, I got a 2-inch brush and I hand painted that shed the last couple days. This is the brush that I used right here. So this is how that came out. The last thing to go on is the galvanized roofing. It's sitting right over here. I didn't want to put the roofing on before I painted because I didn't want to get paint on it. So tomorrow the roofing will go on. But that is how it sits. Nice red shed. Alright guys, today's the day. Today we are going to finish the shed. And what I mean finish, I mean we're going to install the galvanized roofing along with the galvanized drip edge, and then that's it. It'll be done. It'll be finished. It was a nice project. We got a little bit of extra storage to kind of help clean up this area, get some toys out of the way, make this space in front of our RV livable so that we can hang out here and enjoy the space that we have. Let's get to it. So I really only get to work on the shed for about an hour today, and I actually do not finish the shed today. I actually finish it the next day, which you'll see. But right now I am getting the drip edge on and putting that weather seal on. That way when I screw down the shed or screw down that galvanized roofing, we get, there's no pests that get in or bugs or anything like that. So right here I'm trying to line up that first sheet. That way my other sheets kind of go on nice and quickly. So I started screwing on the ridges and not the valleys, putting screws in, and then something didn't seem right about it, and I went to the manufacturer's website and looked at how I was supposed to secure it to the purlins, and it turns out I'm supposed to put the galvanized roofing screws in the valleys with the with the neoprene or nylon washers that they come with. So once I figured that out, things went a lot smoother and and easier. So I used 5 sheets total. They're covered 2 feet each. Each metal piece covered 2 feet. And then I'm going to put the flashing on. Alright, so this is the roof on. And you can see it's flush lined up with the front. You can see how there's a little bit of a gap right there. But all that's going to get covered up with that 3.5-inch flashing. It's going to go on like that. And then the front is also going to get the 3.5-inch flashing, cover these screws. So it's going to be nice watertight. Alright, so I'm putting this flashing on. Before I put this last one on, I want to show you guys what I'm talking about here. See that? This is what covers up that edge and also acts as a drip edge. So there's really no need to worry about if you have any space between the edge of the metal roofing and your fascia board. So I'm going to throw this last one on to cover up, obviously, this and the front right here. All right, let's get to it. All right, so let's look at this last flashing piece, this last drip edge. Okay, it comes across here. It overlaps the eave drip edge, and I even have it overhanging just a little bit right there. So that's what it looks like. Like I said, this overhangs 3.5 inches, so we're not going to get any water penetration at all. It's going to be nice. Definitely a little bit darker in here. Now that the roof is on. That completes the shed. Hope you all enjoyed watching me build it. It did take longer than I thought, just because some days I could only work on it for about an hour, and then I had to watch the kids, or we were, yesterday or the day before we went to the zoo. Yesterday we did laundry, and so, so things like that happen, and it's not a big deal. It just takes a little bit longer than I want, but this is the shed. I really like how it turned out. I think it's going to be a great addition to the property and allow us to kind of store things close to the RV instead of being way over there in the shipping container. So anything we need that's going to be close is going to be in here, which is going to be nice. So stay tuned. We got a lot more going on with this property.